America's #1 luxury car.
If you take a look at some of the older model Cadillacs from the early 21st century, such as the DTS, or even the DeVille, or even the Escalade, which become the rapper's paradise, as you can see in some rappers' music videos, they've actually greatly depreciated. And that's because they were just cars that weren't meant to be built. I mean, we can talk about the North Star engine and all that. But what if I told you there were some Cadillacs that will never depreciate and have an amazing resale value? Starting at $60,000 with a souped-up engine and track-ready hardware, the 2022 Cadillac CTS4 Blackwing is the honest version of the brand's smallest sedan. Based on the regular Cadillac CTS4, the Blackwing is both standard manual transmission and rear-wheel drive. Not like the legendary car YouTuber and car enthusiast Jay Leno's garage states. If you told me 20 years ago that Cadillac would be the only manual transmission car beating out Corvette and the Porsche, it would be crazy. Well, it's actually true. And the spicy 472 twin-turbo V6 Unite chassis head turning, but it's the V8 that matters to most people, which is a 6.2 liter that pumps out about 668 ponies, bro. Ponies. And keep in mind, this thing is no light boy. It's really heavy. And with reaching top speeds over 200 miles per hour for a Cadillac is insane. And with added options, this can get reach over 5,000 pounds. And with $100,000 in the price tag with it. So basically, this makes one of the most expensive cars in America today. Ah yes, the Cadillac 16. I know what you may be thinking. What the hell, boy? Okay, so back up. People that were living in the early 2000s were still doing things that weren't too morally acceptable in today's time in 2023. Like, if you think the Nextel flip phone or getting your Netflix DVD delivered in your mailbox instead of on demand was outrageous, then why don't you take a look at this? 18 years ago, Cadillac introduced the amazing 16 concept as a homage to the company's 1930 flagship, and it looked like it was designed by Bruce Wayne and his monstrous 16-cylinder engine under his butterfly opening door panel hood. Now keep in mind, ladies and gentlemen, that this was the era of electrification, and we just came from OBD2 in 1996. So, the first such vehicle to use with the Cadillac 16 was in 2000. It was the classiest, most expensive cars of the era, with only 4,000 units being built in the 1940s. Now, considering one of the best automobiles in the pure world record, it is an honor to GM to create such futuristic concept, delivered in 2003 Auto Show. And with a 24-inch polished aluminum wheels, this was no short boy, and it was no small one either. Oh no, this thing weighs about 6,000 pounds, and could travel 156 miles per hour within a short amount of time, with the 16-cylinder engine, which was 1,000 horsepower. This thing was 13 liters, ladies and gentlemen, 13 liters. It was a gargantuan. I mean, this thing can get nastier than your grandmother swallowing some pills and washing it down with some Kentucky bourbon. This Cadillac was probably the most extreme cabriolet ever built. Not only is this thing more beautiful than your ex-girlfriend, but let's just say that Hartman definitely knew what he was doing. In 1937, the front was always stunning. Stretching to 22 feet in length, Hartman created a sweeping cabriolet that was almost too dubious to drive on regular roads, being that it was still in the Great Depression. And driving around this thing in Indiana, where people are selling apples for a penny, it would seem disrespectful. So the design was tinted into chrome and definitely mimicked on the French masters of Figone Flashashi, which pioneered the trend from painting the Geohem. Like most Cadillacs of this era, this thing still has the 452 cubic inch V16, which sounds like sweet love if you straight pipe it, right at about 3,400 RPM, and with about 5-to-1 compression ratio. But none of that matters if to you, because this thing is just absolutely drop-dead gorgeous. And with the 45-degree V16, it was no short boy, and it was no slow boy either back in the days. This thing can easily fetch up to about $1.4 million, but extremely rich people were learning to get a little bit crazy with the prices. So keep that in mind. If you think Johnny Cash's Cadillac was crazy, then you should take a look at this guy by a guy named Billy. The Catzilla was considered to be one of the most original authentic customizations worldwide. The Catzilla is a unique version of the Cadillac, which is customized in 1999 by Billy Gibbons or Gibbons. The custom was designed and created by Boyd Coddington, and a famous American hardware designer throughout the Coddington's career, and it made various TV shows and shows around the on-demand world. This is mostly recognizable in the hot wide earth by the Catzilla, and many wonder where it's been. Well, it's been in LA, and throughout the 1980s it's been stored, and basically in Trailer Queen, until he decided to take it out in recent years. It's powered by a big 500 cubic inch, big old V8, the Cadillac 500, which was debuted in 1969, and made over 400 horsepower. But I highly doubt that you will be wanting to win that in this car. I mean, look at the size of it. And as far as the price tag goes, it has no price tag, because this is a priceless car. Yeah, that's how expensive it is. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, so get this. I was just in downtown Chicago yesterday, and I saw a pink Range Rover pull up, and the guy that was driving it, yes, it was a guy, and the guy was wearing all pink clothes. What the hell, boy? Situation. But what I will tell you guys about is what I think about this pink Cadillac. Now, when the 50s arrived, it was easy to see the transition how more designers and Big Three were making a regard to their impressions. So that's GM, Cadillac, and the Big Oval. Shorter broke strokes became longer and more flowing, regardless of whether they're the top 3 luxury cruisers. But the evolution was Cadillac, and Cadillac was the queen at the time, nonetheless. But by the time the 50s hit, the offers were peaking, soon by the era tail fin. And we all know those big massive tail fins. There were owners that were elected to take owners of the Cadillac. You had stars like Frank Sinatra, and Elvis Presley. Even the president had them. Most desirable Cadillacs in the world. As they said, they were the standard in the world. And the 55 only needed minor custom touches to complete the look. I mean, in my opinion, nothing brings seamless power to a car this size like a big block V8. To have plenty of the Gusto mix, 502 Ram jet engine was selected. And that's the 331 cubic inch Cadillac, by the way, which was out in this time. One thing to keep in mind in this year of 1955, Elvis Presley probably didn't even know that it was probably going to kick off like that in the style of the pink Cadillac, the pink white interior and stuff like that. And which is when more and more guys, especially the guy in the pink Range Rover, should remember that he was the one that kicked it off, and not these rappers of today, or the female rappers or something like that. Now, ladies and gentlemen, till next time.